This one is marked as, counted as for your grade, so let's make sure that we stay together on this. We'll do their work together 3-2 together. So I want to make sure we read our directions first, because I have a lot of students that jump right to this and they're skipping this set of instructions here. It says Norma Dirk owns Dirk Copy Center. Using the information provided, journalize the transaction continuing on the next blank line of page 1 of our journal. Source documents are abbreviated as follows. So we have 2 transactions that were done for us previously, and we're going to continue on from there. And please remember, up here in our directions, I'm going to unpin it so I can just kind of move it over here a little bit onto the side. You will see that I have transactions and I have COA. And this stands for a chart of accounts. And this lists all of the accounts that I can use. So if you're like, I'm not really sure which one is going to fit in there, go ahead and take a look at that. So our first transaction here is dated April 5th, bought supplies on account from Supply Mart, $600 M1. Now, we already have some transactions recorded, so I don't have to write April in there. I can go ahead and just start with the 5th. So now I have bought supplies on an account from Supply Mart. Morgan, what are my 2 accounts that I'm affecting? Supply Mart is in our whole account title. What else goes with Supply Mart? If you look at our chart of accounts, yes. And it's important that you hear that it says accounts payable in there, because Morgan, accounts payable, Supply Mart is what type of an account? Yes. What is its normal balance? Correct. So accounts payable Supply Mart, Morgan, do we owe them more money or less money? More. So are they debiting or crediting? Credit. So we already said that we're affecting supplies and accounts payable Supply Mart, and she just told me that accounts payable Supply Mart is being credited. That has to go on line 4. Reason being is I have to list my debit first. I agree with her that it is being credited, but since that's the first one we talked about, we're going to go ahead and list that one on line 4. Now, the other account you said besides accounts payable Supply Mart, Morgan, was which one? What type of an account is supplies? It is an asset, and you just told me what its normal balance was, so thank you, Morgan. It is a debit normal balance. And do we have more supplies or less supplies, Morgan? More. So we're going to go ahead and put $600 in there as a debit, and our source document is going to be M1. Transaction dated April 7th. Paid cash for insurance, $500. Sabrina, what are my 2 accounts that are being affected when I pay cash for insurance? Are any one of those a special column? Cash is, right? So we know we don't have to write the account cash, so I'm going to put the date of the 7th. So that means under the account title, I'm going to have to go ahead and fill in and put in prepaid insurance. My source document is going to be C2. So Sabrina, when we see a source document of C2, what does that tell us? Cash has to be credited $500. So therefore, we're going to debit under general. Last transaction we'll roll out together is going to be paid cash on account to Supply Mart. Devin, you want to tackle that one with me? Yes. What 2 accounts are being affected? Now, are any special columns being affected? Which one? Cash. So we know cash is being debited or credited? How do you know? Yes. C cash, C check, C credit. So we know that cash is being affected as a credit for $300. So I like to start with things I know. Because if cash is being credited, what does the other one have to be? It has to be debited. So if you know half of it, woo, we go on from there. And we're going to go ahead and put accounts payable, supply mart. Source document's going to be C3, and we're going to debit that for $300. Now, I want to point out a couple things before you move on to the next section. Our source documents are going to be consecutively numbered. So if I take a look here on line 2, it says C1. If I jump down here on line 5, it says C2. Line 6, it says C3. What is my next C number going to be? 4. If I'm going through and journalizing and I realize C4 is missing, that'll be a problem. Okay? Now my next receipt number should be what? R2. My next memorandum should be M2. So they should always be consecutively numbered, and we should never have one that is missing. If you ever do, that should be a clue if something is there's a mistake there. So why don't you go ahead and try that. Save this one and go ahead and continue on that on your own.